When Mercy Freeman refuses to marry the brutal foreman chosen for her, she faces public whipping as punishment. The former slave stands defiant as the whip tears her dress. Jacob Whitmore, a debt-ridden rancher, steps forward offering marriage to save her. Mercy Freeman would rather bleed than bow. The crack of leather splits the morning air. Mercy Freeman stands bound to the whipping post, blood seeping through torn cotton. The town square holds its breath. Dust settles on boots and bonnets as Sheriff Coleman raises the braided leather again. Last chance, girl. Say you'll marry Silas or take another. Mercy lifts her chin. Sweat mingles with blood on her dark skin. Her voice carries across the silent crowd. I belong to no man. From somewhere behind the gathered faces, a voice cuts through the tension. I'll take, heads turn. Jacob Whitmore steps forward, his worn hat clutched in calloused hands. His boots scrape against the dusty ground. As my wife. The words hang in the air like smoke from a dying fire. Sheriff Coleman lowers the whip. Edgar Hartwell pushes through the crowd, his face flushed with anger and disbelief. This is family, business, Whitmore. Jacob doesn't look at Edgar. His eyes stay fixed on Mercy. She stares back, searching his weathered face for something she can't name. She needs a husband, Jacob says. I need a wife. The lie tastes bitter on his tongue. He needs many things. A wife isn't one of them. What he needs is for Edgar Hartwell to forgive the debt that's choking the life from his farm. What he needs is for the bank to stop circling like buzzards. What he needs is for his dead wife's ghost to stop haunting every corner of his empty house. But Mercy Freeman needs something more immediate. She needs to not die today. 3 weeks earlier, Edgar Hartwell had called a meeting. All the families who'd worked his father's land gathered, in the barn. The smell of hay mixed with nervous sweat as Edgar laid out his plan. Time for order, he'd said. Time for proper marriages, proper families. He'd pointed at people like cattle at auction. You with him, her with that one. Mercy Freeman would marry Silas Morrison, his foreman. Mercy had stood up in the middle of Edgar's speech. No. One word. Simple as breathing. Heavy as a gravestone. Edgar's face had gone red. Silas had grinned, showing teeth stained brown with tobacco. She'll come around, Silas had said. Mercy had walked out of the barn. She'd kept walking until she reached Sarah Chen's laundry where she'd stayed for 3 weeks. Until this morning when Sheriff Coleman came with rope and a warrant for disturbing the peace. Now Jacob Whitmore stands in the dust, making an offer that changes everything and nothing. Edgar steps closer. His breath smells of whiskey and anger. You're making a mistake, Whitmore. Interfering with family business. She's not family, Jacob replies. She's free. The word hangs between them like a challenge. Edgar's jaw tightens. Free don't mean she can cause trouble. Marriage will settle her down, Jacob says. The words taste like ash. Give her purpose. Mercy's eyes narrow. She understands the game being played around her. Men trading her like livestock. But Jacob's offer means she doesn't have to marry Silas Morrison. Silas, who'd cornered her behind the general store last month. Silas, whose hands left bruises on her arms. I accept, she says. The crowd murmurs. Edgar spits in the dust. Fine, he says. But you'll answer for her behavior, Whitmore. Both of you. 3 hours later, Mercy stands beside Jacob in front of Preacher Williams. Her dress is Sarah's, borrowed and too long. Jacob's suit is his only good one, saved for funerals and failed harvests. Preacher Williams speaks the words quickly. His eyes dart between the bride and groom, searching for something that isn't there. Love, maybe. Joy, hope. He finds only grim determination. You may kiss the bride. Jacob hesitates. Mercy's face is stone. He leans forward and brushes his lips against her cheek. Her skin is warm and smells faintly of lye soap. Mrs. Whitmore, he whispers. The name feels foreign on both their tongues. They walk to Jacob's wagon in silence. The crowd has mostly dispersed, leaving only Sarah Chen and a few curious children. Sarah presses a small bundle into Mercy's hands. "Your things," she says quietly. "And some extra fabric." Mercy nods. She doesn't trust her voice. The ride to Jacob's farm takes 30 minutes. The silence stretches between them like barbed wire. The land around them is brown and cracked. Cattle cluster around a dying creek. "Drought's been hard," Jacob says. Mercy nods. She's seen worse. Jacob's house is small but solid. 2 rooms and a lean-to kitchen. The front porch sags slightly on one side. Paint peels from the shutters like old skin. Inside, the rooms smell of dust and loneliness. A single plate sits on the kitchen table. 1 cup beside the wash basin. Everything speaks of a man living alone too long. "There's a room in back," Jacob says, "for sleeping." Mercy sets down her bundle. She looks around the space that's now supposed to be home. "Where will you sleep?" Front room has a cot. They stand facing each other in the gathering dusk. Neither knows what comes next. The marriage certificate crinkles in Jacob's pocket. Legal proof of a transaction neither fully understands. "This doesn't have to be," Jacob starts. "I know," Mercy interrupts. She moves to the window. Outside, the sun bleeds red across the horizon. The same sun that rose on her whipping. The same sun that will rise on whatever comes next. "Thank you," she says without turning around. Jacob nods, though she can't see him. He picks up his hat and walks toward the door. "I'll be outside if you need anything." Mercy waits until his footsteps fade. Then she sits on the narrow bed and finally allows herself to shake. Morning comes with empty promises. Jacob stands at the kitchen window, watching dust devils dance across withered cornfields. The coffee tastes bitter. Everything tastes bitter these days. Mercy emerges from the back room, hair braided tight against her skull. She moves like water around the small kitchen, finding bread, slicing thin. Her hands are steady. They've always been steady. "Bankman came yesterday," Jacob says. Mercy's knife pauses against the bread, just for a heartbeat. "What did he want?" "Time." The word hangs between them like smoke. Jacob drains his coffee cup, sets it down harder than necessary. "How much time?" 3 months. Mercy nods. She's seen men lose farms before, watched families pack wagons in the middle of the night, leaving behind everything they couldn't carry. "What do you owe?" Jacob names a number that makes Mercy's chest tight. Too much. Far too much for land that barely grows weeds. She spreads butter on bread with careful strokes, hands him the plate without meeting his eyes. "We'll manage." The word hangs in the air. We. Like they're a real couple. Like this marriage means something beyond survival. They work the failing garden in silence. Mercy's fingers coax life from stubborn soil, while Jacob repairs fence posts that lean like old men. The sun beats down merciless. Sweat darkens their clothes. A cloud of dust rises on the horizon. 2 riders approach, Silas Morrison and one of Edgar's men. Jacob straightens, hammer in his grip. Mercy doesn't look up from the tomato plants. "Whitmore." Silas spits tobacco juice into the dirt. "Heard you got yourself a wife." "Heard right." Silas studies Mercy, like she's livestock. His eyes linger on the curve of her back, the way her dress pulls tight across her shoulders. Shame to see good breeding stock go to waste. Jacob's knuckles whiten around the hammer handle. "State your business, Morrison." "Just being neighborly." Silas grins, checking on the new bride. Mercy finally looks up. Her gaze meets Silas's without flinching. Something dangerous flickers in her dark eyes. "I'm fine," she says. "For now." Silas touches his hat brim. "Ma'am." They ride away, leaving dust and unspoken threats. That evening, Mercy finds Jacob hunched over papers at the kitchen table. His finger traces words like a child learning to read, which, she realizes, he is. "Trouble?" she asks. Jacob looks up, embarrassed. "Legal papers," Bank wants them signed. Mercy moves closer. The documents might as well be written in Chinese for all Jacob understands them. He can read simple words, his name, numbers, but the legal language twists like barbed wire. I could help, she says quietly. Jacob stares at her. You can read? The question carries weight. Reading means education. Education means privilege, dangerous privilege for someone like her. Some. She sits across from him, takes the papers. Her eyes move across the text like swift birds. They're calling in the loan early, she says, due to failure to maintain property standards. Jacob's face goes gray. Can they do that? If it's in the contract. Mercy's finger finds the relevant clause. Right here. She reads it aloud, translating legal speak into plain truth. Jacob watches her mouth form words he's never heard spoken by someone like her. How? He asks. Master's daughter taught me. Before the war. Mercy sets the papers down carefully. Secret lessons in the stable loft. Why secret? Reading made you dangerous. Made you think. They sit in silence. The oil lamp flickers between them, casting shadows that dance like memories. Could you teach me? Jacob asks. Something shifts in Mercy's chest. Surprise, maybe. Or hope. Yes. They begin the next evening. Jacob's fingers stumble over simple words while Mercy guides him through sentences. Her patience surprises them. Both. His determination surprises her. Why marry me? She asks one night after Jacob successfully reads a full paragraph. Jacob sets down the book, studies his hands, calloused from years of failed harvests and broken dreams. My wife died birthing our son, he says finally. Baby died too. 3 winters alone in this house near killed me. Mercy waits. There's more. Thought maybe saving someone else might save me too. The truth sits between them like a small flame, fragile, necessary. What were you before? Jacob asks. A seamstress, for the Hartwells. Mercy smooths her skirt. Made their daughter's wedding dress. Watched her marry a banker's son. What did you want to be? The question catches her off guard. Want. Such a dangerous word. Free, she says. Just free. Weeks pass. They fall into rhythm. Jacob tends livestock while Mercy coaxes vegetables from reluctant earth. Evenings bring reading lessons. Small. Conversations. Shared meals that taste less bitter. Mercy mends Jacob's shirts with careful stitches. Jacob defends her honor at the general store when Mrs. Patterson makes cutting remarks about mixed marriages. Trust grows slow as winter wheat. One night, Mercy reads by candlelight after Jacob falls asleep on the front room cot. The book is poetry. Stolen words about love and freedom and dreams deferred. Footsteps creak on floorboards. Jacob appears. In the doorway, hair mussed from sleep. Can't sleep, he says. Mercy closes the book quickly. Old habits, old fears. It's beautiful, Jacob says, nodding toward the book. The reading. You think so? Could teach our children someday. The words slip out before Jacob can stop them. Our children. Like this marriage might produce something real. Something lasting. Mercy's breath catches. Children. Another dangerous word. Maybe, she whispers. Jacob moves toward the kitchen. For water. Mercy watches him go, then opens a wooden box hidden beneath her few clothes. Inside, folded carefully, lie mortgage papers. Documents she found while cleaning. Documents that change everything. Edgar Hartwell holds Jacob's debt. The same Edgar who forced this marriage, who threatened both their lives. Jacob married her as part of a deal. Keep Mercy quiet. Keep her controlled. Edgar forgives the debt. She was never saved. She was sold. Again. Mercy closes the box, blows out the candle. sits in darkness while the weight of betrayal settles in her chest like a stone. Outside, wind rattles the windows. Inside, Jacob sleeps peacefully, dreaming of crops that might grow and debts that might disappear. Mercy doesn't sleep at all. Dawn breaks cold and merciless. Mercy sets the mortgage papers on the kitchen table between them. Jacob's coffee cup trembles in his hands. Was any of it real? Her voice cuts through morning quiet like a blade through silk. Jacob stares at the documents, his name, Edgar's signature, terms that bind them all. The deal was real, he says finally. Mercy nods. She expected this, hoped against it, but expected it. The rest? Jacob looks up. His eyes hold something she can't name. Regret, maybe, or shame. Became real. When? When you taught me to read, when you mended my shirts. Jacob's voice cracks. When you made this place feel like home. Mercy stands, moves to the window. Outside, the land stretches brown and broken under an indifferent sky. I'm leaving. Mercy. I won't be traded again. She packs her few belongings in silence. Jacob watches from the doorway, helpless as a man watching his house burn. Where will you go? Sarah's. Mercy folds her extra dress. The one Sarah gave. Her for the wedding. It smells like hope and lies. Edgar won't let this stand, Jacob says. Then you'll have to choose. She turns to face him. Her eyes are dry. Tears are a luxury she can't afford. Me or the farm? Both, Jacob whispers. I choose both. Mercy lifts her bundle. That's not how choices work. The door closes behind her with finality. Jacob stands alone in the kitchen, surrounded by the ghost of what might have been. Sarah Chen's laundry sits at the edge of town like a secret. Steam rises from wash basins, while wet clothes hang like surrender flags. Mercy arrives as the morning bells toll. He betrayed you, Sarah says without preamble. Yes. You still love him. Mercy sets down her bundle, picks up a bar of soap, begins scrubbing shirts with violent efficiency. Love is a luxury. Sarah studies her friend's face, sees the careful blankness that comes from too much pain. Sometimes luxury is what keeps us alive. They work in silence. Water turns gray with dirt and secrets. Outside, the town wakes to another day of small cruelties and smaller kindnesses. Edgar Hartwell arrives at noon. His boots track mud across Sarah's clean floor. Time to come home, girl. Mercy doesn't look up from the washboard. This is home. Your husband wants you back. My husband wants his debt forgiven. Edgar's face reddens. You'll marry Silas. End this nonsense. No. The word hangs in steamy air like a thrown gauntlet. Edgar steps closer. His breath smells of whiskey and rage. Jacob Whitmore can't protect you forever. Jacob Whitmore already sold me. Edgar grins, shows teeth, yellow as old ivory. Smart girl, smarter than he deserves. He leaves without another word. The threat lingers like smoke. That evening, Sarah reveals her secret. Hidden beneath loose floorboards lie forged papers, travel documents for those seeking freedom in northern states. How long? Mercy asks. 2 years. Maybe longer. Dangerous work. Necessary work. Sarah lights a candle. In the flickering glow, she looks older than her years, worn down by secrets and midnight departures. I could make papers for you, she offers. Mercy considers this. Freedom lies in those documents. A new name, a new life, the chance to disappear entirely. Not yet. Meanwhile, Jacob searches his house like a man possessed. Every document, every paper, looking for answers in fine print and faded ink. The mortgage contract doesn't match his copy. Different terms, different interest rates. Someone has been playing games with numbers and lives. Edgar arrives the next morning with an offer wrapped in threats. Bring her back, he says. Marry. Her to Silas properly. I'll make you my new foreman. Good wages, steady work. Jacob stands on his front porch watching dust devils dance across failing fields. And if I refuse? Bank takes the farm tomorrow. Silas gets the girl anyway. She's not livestock. She's whatever I say she is. Edgar spits tobacco juice into the dirt. The stain spreads like spilled blood. Decide fast, Whitmore. Time's running out. At the laundry, Mercy and Sarah work side by side. Their friendship deepens over shared labor and whispered conversations. Sarah teaches Mercy Chinese words. Mercy teaches Sarah to read English better. Why did you come west? Mercy asks. Running from an arranged marriage. Sarah rinses shirts in clean water. My father sold me to a merchant in San Francisco. How did you escape? Jumped ship in port, stole men's clothes, walked until I found this place. They understand each other. Two women who refuse to be property. Silas Morrison arrives the third evening. Drunk and angry and tired of waiting. Time to come home, Mercy. He fills the doorway like a storm cloud. His hands are steady despite the whiskey on his breath. I'm not going anywhere with you. Edgar says different. Silas steps inside. Sarah moves between him and Mercy, small but fierce. Leave, Sarah says. Now. Silas laughs, pushes Sarah aside with casual violence. She stumbles, catches herself against the washstand. This ain't your business, China girl. He reaches for Mercy. She dodges behind the laundry baskets. He follows, clumsy with drink but determined. Stop fighting what's natural, he growls. Sarah picks up an iron poker from the stove, swings it at Silas's head. He ducks, backhands, her across the face. She falls hard against the wooden floor. Mercy screams. Not in fear, but in rage. She grabs a bottle of lye soap, throws it at Silas's eyes. He roars, stumbles blind. Jacob appears in the doorway, takes in the scene with one glance. Silas bleeding. Sarah motionless on the floor. Mercy kneeling beside her friend. Get out, Jacob says quietly. Silas wipes blood from his face, grins through the pain. Make me, farmer. Jacob steps forward. Something dark moves behind his eyes. Something that's been building for weeks. Get out or I'll kill you. The words carry weight, truth. Silas must hear it because he backs toward the door. This ain't over. He leaves. Jacob kneels beside the women. Sarah's breathing is shallow but steady. A bruise blooms across her cheek like a poisonous flower. We need the doctor, Mercy whispers. Jacob nods, lifts Sarah gently. Her small body weighs nothing in his arms. I'm sorry, he tells Mercy. I know. Sarah's face looks like crushed flowers. She lies on the narrow cot, conscious but fragile. The doctor has come and gone, leaving bottles of laudanum and warnings about head injuries. Mercy holds vigil beside her friend's bedside. I'm sorry, Sarah whispers through swollen lips. For what? Sarah's eyes dart toward a wooden box beneath her bed. Inside, Mercy knows, are the forged papers, the escape routes, the hope she's been building for others. I've been writing to Edgar. The words fall like stones into still water. Mercy's hand stills on Sarah's forehead. What? Letters. Telling him about the people I help. About you and Jacob. Sarah's voice cracks. I thought if he knew you weren't causing real trouble, he'd leave you alone. The room tilts. Mercy grips the edge of the cot. You've been his spy. I've been trying to protect you. By betraying everyone else? Sarah closes her eyes. Tears leak from beneath bruised lids. I thought I was being smart, playing both sides to keep people safe. Her breath hitches. I was wrong. Mercy stands, moves to the window. Outside, the sun sets bloody over a town built on lies. How many people did you expose? 3 families, maybe 4. Where are they now? Sarah's silence is answer enough. Jacob finds them there an hour later. He carries coffee and news, both bitter. Edgar's at the bank, he says. Foreclosure papers are ready. Mercy doesn't turn from the window. When? Tomorrow morning. So you'll give me to Silas. Save your farm. Jacob sets down the coffee cups. His hands shake slightly. I've been thinking about something you said, about choices. Jacob, I choose you. The words hang in the air like smoke. Mercy finally turns, sees something in his face she's never seen before. Certainty. Even if it costs you everything? Everything I had was already lost. He moves closer, not touching but close enough that she can feel the warmth of his body. There's something else about the mortgage. Jacob pulls out papers, documents he's been studying for days. Edgar doesn't own my debt, never did. Mercy's breath catches. What? Railroad company bought up all the local mortgages 2 years ago. Edgar's been pretending to hold the papers, using them to control people. But the contract you signed, fake or altered. Jacob's jaw tightens. He's been playing us all. Sarah struggles to sit up. The railroad wants the land? All of it. Edgar's been forcing people to sell cheap, then turning around and selling to the railroad at 10 times the price. Your marriage to me, Mercy says slowly, was part of his plan. Keep you controlled, keep me grateful, keep everyone in line while he bought up the valley. The pieces fall into place like a puzzle, made of pain. Edgar's family business, the arranged marriages, the threats and violence, all of it designed to fracture the community while he profited. We need proof, Mercy says. I have it. Jacob spreads documents across Sarah's small table. Correspondence. Between Edgar and the railroad, fraudulent contracts, records of sales that never happened. Where did you get these? Edgar's not as careful as he thinks. Left them in his saddlebags while he was drinking at the saloon. You stole them? I borrowed them temporarily. Sarah laughs despite her injuries. You're learning to be devious. I'm learning to fight. They plan through the night. Sarah knows which federal marshal to contact. Jacob knows Edgar's schedule. Mercy knows how to read legal documents well enough to understand their implications. Dawn brings the marshal, a weathered man named Thompson who's seen too much corruption to be surprised by more. He examines the documents with practiced eyes. This is enough, he says finally. More than enough. Edgar arrives at the bank as scheduled. He finds Thompson waiting with handcuffs and a warrant. What's the meaning of this? Fraud, conspiracy, theft. Thompson's voice is flat as a gravestone. You're under arrest. Edgar's face cycles through shock, rage, and finally calculation. You can't prove anything. Thompson holds up the documents. Your own handwriting says different. Those are stolen. Those are evidence. As Edgar is led away in chains, he turns back toward Jacob and Mercy. His eyes burn with the kind of hate that outlasts lifetimes. This isn't over, he snarls. Yes, Mercy says quietly. It is. The railroad deal collapses within a week. Without Edgar's cooperation, the company can't force the land sales. Jacob's farm is safe, but barely. The drought has taken its toll. The crops are mostly failed. They'll have to start over, build something new from the ashes of what was lost. 6 months later, Mercy stands in their rebuilt kitchen, her hands resting on the curve of her belly. The baby moves beneath her palm like a secret becoming real. Jacob reads aloud from a letter. Their first child will be born free, on land they own together. The words taste like hope. What will we name him? Jacob asks. Her, Mercy corrects. And we'll call her Freedom. Jacob smiles, sets down the letter, moves to stand behind his wife, his hands covering hers on their growing child. That's a heavy name for a little girl. She'll grow into it. Mercy leans back against his chest, feels his heartbeat steady against her spine. Outside, the first green shoots of spring push through hard ground, life insisting on itself despite everything. I kept the name Freeman for a reason, she says. Jacob kisses the top of her head. I know. Some chains you don't even know you're wearing until someone loves you enough to break them. She turns in his arms, sees herself reflected in his eyes, not as property or burden or even rescue, just as herself. Mercy Freeman Whitmore, a woman who finally belongs to herself. The baby kicks. A small rebellion against the confines of the womb. Mercy smiles. She's going to be trouble. Good, Jacob says. The world needs more trouble like you. Outside, the sun sets over land that's truly theirs. Inside, two people who found each other in the midst of breaking build something new from the pieces of what was lost. The baby kicks again. Stronger this time. Ready to fight her way into a world that doesn't want her. Just like her mother. She doesn't forgive him. Not yet. But in this moment, watching him carry her wounded friend toward help, she remembers why she almost loved him. And that is all to the story, for now. Please let me know where you are tuning in from. Perhaps we will create a story there. Consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel, and if you enjoy our content, click this video on your screen. I promise you it's worth watching. See you tomorrow.